Kevin, we're done.
So we're done. So we just had our breakfast and we're headed to the museum, but we had to stop for a snack. Can you guess what it is? It's gelato. So I got the almond flavor from Melt. It's in, I guess, next to the main square.
I got salted chocolate. Look at that. So it looks like it might be almost dark chocolate. Let's see.
Oh my gosh.
Oh wow. Salted all right, yeah.
Yeah, mine's really good. I don't know if you can see, but it has like pieces of almonds, almost like an almond butter ice cream.
She's been on an almond kick today. She had an almond croissant for breakfast today as well.
Yeah, I'm loving the almonds today. But yeah, so today we're headed to see the City of Zagreb Museum.
And it is in the upper town, so this pathway goes up the hill to the very top. And it's supposed to be really cool. So saw the photos online, just a couple, just to get warmed up to it. Looks exciting.
Yeah, so we're excited and we'll keep you posted. So as you can see, there's the gate behind us that's covering the whole courtyard of the church. And we saw it on our walking tour, and our walking tour guide explained to us that it got blocked off during COVID and then they never opened it up again.
But we found out why. So apparently the reason why is because lately, the past few years, the Croatian people have been a little more unhappy with the government than usual, and so they've been staging protests in that square like very frequently. They're staging it there because this building is a government building for the governor, and this building here, like where Rylan pointed, is that's the parliament. And so it's a big government center here, and so almost in an act of censorship, they blocked it off so that the public can't access that square anymore. All those cars are police and government vehicles.
Yeah, but apparently this is where people come to protest and do strikes.
Yeah.
And we know that it's been happening, maybe just on the weekends, because when we went to get a haircut, the guy who owned the barber shop was telling us that there's a big protest going on that day, which was Saturday, I believe.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
So this here, according to that sign right there, says that this was an ancient hearth from the Iron Age, aka roughly the 660s AD, and it was discovered underneath this building. And its intent was for rituals, apparently. So you would put artifacts of some sort in here and burn them, and the smoke would come through these holes, and that would have some sort of religious, cultural significance.
So here we are in the Museum of the City of Zagreb, and this building here was originally constructed in the 1660s. At the time, it was constructed as a financial building for the civilization at the time. And then it wasn't until the 1990s that they did a historical restoration of this building, and they discovered, and get this, artifacts spanning thousands of years across multiple different civilizations. All the way from the 1st century BC, they found stuff from the Bronze Age, from the Iron Age, from different communities doing different things. It's just crazy.
So we said in a previous video that there was a river that they have since basically turned into a sewage system that they built roads over. This is that river. And the Battle of Bloody Bridge was roughly on a bridge here. It doesn't show it in this model, but that was where all the fighting would happen between this city and this city constantly.
So something that's been really useful for us is Google Translate. So this museum is mostly in Croatian, like most of the plaques are in Croatian. So if you see, what we've been doing is we just take a picture of the plaque and it translates it right there for you. So this is the letter that the Croatian-Hungarian king granted to the city Gradić, which is one of the two older cities. One is Gradić, one is capital. And he declared them a free royal city with the condition that they had to build a wall around the city.
So here we have a depiction of a castle that was built in the 13th century specifically for the purpose of getting away from the Mongol invasions. Like, they built a whole castle just to get away from these guys because they knew that they were coming there to kill them all. They just saw the path of slaughter in their way. You can see in these old photos the remnants of that castle that remain.
Here is one of the first flags of the city of Zagreb. All right, so here's something I already know a lot about. One of the world's first bicycles. So check out these details. First of all, the wheels are made entirely out of wood. The spokes are wood, the rims are wood that are boiled and then rolled into a circle and then nailed together with the joint there. And then the tires are actually solid iron. Imagine how uncomfortable that would be. For reference, the nickname of this bicycle back in the day was called the Bone Shaker, because as you ride this down the cobbles, you can feel the meat bouncing off of your bones. And so that explains exactly why the seat here, or the saddle, is actually attached to a giant leaf spring to absorb some of the shock from going through your pelvis, because that would be quite painful, lead to bruising and all sorts of stuff. But you can see there's nothing to help you with your hands. All that shock coming through that wheel and those thick, sturdy spokes, all those bumps are going straight through into your hands. So here's a model of the upper town of Zagreb. And for reference of where we've gone today, it's pretty cool. To get to where we are right now, we walked up these stairs, along here, and then we passed this tower where in a previous video we climbed to the top and had an amazing view, you might remember. We walked all the way up to St. Mark's Church, just right there. And then we went down this street, turned left, and we walked down this street for a bit until we got to this building. And we are currently on the second floor of this building, right about here. So check this out, one of the very first cameras. It's huge, eh? It's crazy how it evolved from that to this. You know, maybe we should switch up our vlogging style, make it a little old school.
So this is really cool. Right now we're standing on a map of the city, specifically the green horseshoe. So as you can see, the green here, it's in a horseshoe shape, and it represents a bunch of parks all throughout the city that have really significant monumental buildings, which conveniently we live really close to. If our street were on this floor, it would be right on the wall there.
Right there. Hey, you want to get some gelato?
Oh yeah.
What flavor are you gonna get?
Chocolate.
Chocolate? I'm gonna get lemon. So, what do you think? Is this a good hair day or a really, really bad hair day?
She looks impressed with her hairstyle.
Think we should bring that back?
Oh yeah.
So everyone knows this bike here. So if you remember the previous bike that I was just showcasing, it had the same kind of pedaling mechanism here, where the pedals are directly connected to the axle, and the faster you spin the pedals, the faster the wheel spins. Well, I found that on those bikes, the wheels weren't spinning very fast because you could only spin the pedal at the same rate that the wheel spins, right? So one full revolution of that means one full revolution of the wheel. And they realize that by making a bigger wheel, then one full revolution gets you a further distance, which means you can go faster. And so thus, this guy right here. Around this period of time as well, they also upgraded for comfort. They no longer have iron tires. They are now just a solid block of rubber, a little bit better. And the spokes, rims, and hubs are now made out of iron instead of wood. And so because the spokes are thinner, they stretch a little more whenever you go over a bump or something, and it absorbs a little more shock. All right, so what did you think of the Museum of the City of Zagreb?
I loved it. It was a lot more interesting than I expected.
Mm-hmm.
I loved that it was like the in situ style where they presented the findings at the actual archaeological site.
Yeah.
That was really surreal.
Yeah, they had so much stuff in there. Like, it was a walkthrough. You start, right? And you're in the ancient Bronze Age, right? Like the very beginnings of history being found in this area. And then as you walk your way through the museum, it works its way all the way up to the modern day, basically.
Yeah.
Just slowly through every room. Every room is just a handful of years more recent than the previous one.
And it was a lot bigger than I expected too. There were 3 floors, chock full. Every single room had tons of artifacts.
Filled. Yeah, I mean, the amount of content that they fit into a building that's a quarter the size of the Royal Ontario Museum is crazy.
Yeah. And we learned a lot, even though most of the plaques were in Croatian. It's so easy to translate them with the Google Translate app.
Yeah. And for reference, both of us combined cost about €8.
Yep. Yeah.
Easy price to pay for,
so it's
all that.
€5 for an adult and $3 for a student.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was very nice.
Amazing.
And now we are heading home to start work.
Yep.
And that's it for today.
All right. Ciao.